David. David.
He's falling in a beautiful swirling pattern.
David.
Welcome to the David Wells Experiment. I'm your host, David Wells. Yep. I got home and I was really tired. So I thought, okay, maybe I can skip doing a podcast tonight. I mean, it's not as though I didn't do anything earlier. I mean, I uploaded 3 podcasts today. One was from yesterday, and 2 were from today. One while I was uploading the other one, and I was 5 minutes late than that time frame. But we have a 5-minute grace period, so I worked within that time frame, and I felt I could make it. So I just felt this compulsion. Like, I kept thinking, you're not going to have enough time to record this, load it onto the computer, pass it through the AI filter, download it, and add the opening and ending to it, and then upload it to Spotify. But something just kept saying, you have to at least try. Maybe you'll be 5 minutes late, but that's fine because that's an acceptable threshold. So I thought, you owe it to yourself to try. And again, I don't even have to upload another podcast because I'm at least 2 weeks ahead. Dang. There's some sort of heat warning. It really does feel like the heat is kind of different than it used to be. Or who knows? I was outside for like 5 hours for the first time, maybe like last Monday. No, not Monday. It had to have been Tuesday. Yeah, last Tuesday. It was the first time I'd been outside for a long amount of time in a while. No, not Tuesday. It was Wednesday, because Tuesday was the 4th of July, and Wednesday was the day right after it. I thought I could work outside on the 4th of July since we were having a shorter day, but it didn't work out that way. And for those of you who knew me during the pandemic and came to Chick-fil-A, you know I used to wear a funny hat. And it's funny, there were some people who it was funny. It was the first time that I had worn that hat in a while, or been on Expo in a while, and there were some people who were like, they remembered me, and I'm like, that's cool. I think I have about 25 listeners on Spotify now. 25 or 27. I think it helps that I'm uploading so frequently. Dang. It looks like I looked on videos to play on YouTube while I'm doing this, and apparently there's this thing called Maldev Academy, and it teaches you how to be an ethical hacker, I think. Or I think it teaches you how to it teaches you how malware and viruses work. And basically, it's another aspect of learning how to code. And that's interesting. It's one of those things that you don't see a lot of on YouTube instructional videos. I guess because there's like an ethically dubious nature to it. But I mean, it probably wouldn't be too crazy because I remember way back in the day when I just go to Borders, because what is now Michael's in the Forum Shopping Center used to be Borders. And if I wasn't at home, work, or church, I was at Borders. And I saw all kinds of books like Hacking the Ethical Way. So it wouldn't be any information that wasn't already available. Duh. Yeah. But anyway, man, I remember, let's see, it was 2021 where I was really trying to learn how to do C++ because it's like I tried to learn C++ initially because I heard UTSA had some sort of video game class and they taught in C++. So I thought, okay, that seems cool. And I sort of lost interest, but then I met this one girl and she was really cool. I kind of liked her, and apparently she also knew C++, so I tried to learn C++ much more diligently in an effort to impress her. That's got to be like one of the weirdest, oh, I had the idea to impress a girl stories ever. Speaking of learning things, another thing that UTSA course had was learning how to do 3D animation, and they used Blender mostly because it's free, mostly. Um, and I sort of started to do well with it, but I just, as is the case with many things, I got distracted. But I don't know if I would be able to do that much powerful stuff on Blender, just given that my laptop is so old. But I remember I was able to learn some things. And like, they've already released several tools in addition to what I already. Sorry, let me repeat that. There's already several more versions of Blender compared to what I already have now. No, that was wrong too. Okay, I have Blender 2.8. That was the last version I got on my computer. Since then, they've released several updated versions. Man, I don't know why that was so hard to say. It could be because I decided to do a podcast at 12:20-ish, and I felt tired enough that it slurs my speech, but not tired enough that I can just go to bed. I just, again, had that nagging feeling of you haven't made something for the night, so you have to. The difficult thing about 3D animation is I feel that there are some people who never move past the tutorials. Like they can only make things based on the tutorials. Like one of the things I've heard from people commenting is you really have to get good at Blender or any 3D animation software is you have to come up with ideas and then try to achieve that. I know I've stated, but oh shoot, I keep covering the mic. I know I've said it before, but you keep you have a list of things you want to do. You have a list of chosen things that you have to do, and you have a list of things that you just have to do regardless. And the way you can make yourself able to go after the chosen things is to just the chosen things that you have to do has to outweigh the things that you just have to do, which is kind of like, I think I said it before, dang, like I feel like I have this probably isn't a very good podcast. It's weird. I have energy to talk, but I guess not energy to keep a coherent thought, which probably isn't great. I still feel like I need to do more things. And the one thing I can think to do every day that I know I can do is like just make these podcasts. Just put on the microphone and talk into it and then upload it. It's a passing thought I have is like, how much further along could I be in filmmaking if I simply just taught myself Blender? Because there have been some incredible projects that have been made in Blender. That guy Kane Pixels who did the back rooms, he made that in Blender. And when you think about it, it's not terribly complicated. I think the most difficult part would probably be how he makes the shaky handheld footage look realistic. But I've seen some tutorial videos and I'm like, oh wow, that's impressive. Of course, it's crazy that there are some YouTube channels that all they have to do is learn how to make a backrooms video and they seem to just blow up. Like, it almost seems like a surefire way to succeed. I bet you even after I'm done making this podcast, I'll feel like some level of you needed to do more. I clicked on, so the version of Blender I have is 2.8. So I looked up Blender 2.8 tutorials. And there's this one video playlist. I think it's actually put out by Blender. And it's got a pretty good selection of, it has a 43 part series that shows you how to make stuff or what things you need to do, and it really doesn't seem as though they make it into nice digestible sizes. I think the longest video is maybe 25 minutes, but it looks at a kind of difficult subject. So it makes sense why it would be longer than the rest. Part of me sometimes wishes I had like hustled a bit more when I was younger, when every indie film was just about a bunch of people talking and some guy like trying to find himself, and when like not a whole lot could happen, but because there was like a content deficit, people could get a deal and they could build some clout that way. It is a much more difficult environment for like independent films nowadays. I feel like the bar has been raised. I remember hearing Quentin Tarantino say he was asked at a convention, and I think other directors were there, like Edgar Wright and Robert Rodriguez. And when they did a Q&A, one person asked, would you say it's easier or more difficult to get into independent filmmaking because there are a lot more people and there's like a lot of noise? So what advice would you give? And Quentin Tarantino, he spoke the truth, but at the same time, it could almost sound like he was being arrogant, but at the same time, when you think it over, it's like not arrogant. He said, make Reservoir Dogs. And he said, it might sound like I'm being cocky, but that was an amazing movie. So make an amazing movie. Like, sure, more people can make more movies, but that just means that there's more rubbish out there than there used to be. If you make something that is actually great, then you can't help but get noticed. And I thought that's really cool. It's funny, I'm looking up the stats on some of my podcasts, and well, okay, like I know I was about to say like, man, there's a lot of them that didn't get any views. And I'm like, well, they're scheduled, so they haven't been released yet. I'm like, oh yeah. Um, the I probably should have recorded earlier because I'm pretty tired right now. But I had to do something. So sounds terrible, but whether it's good or bad, I had to choose to make something. I have a I have a subscription option where I think I could put my content behind a paywall, but I don't know that my audience is big enough. How big is my audience? I think I have some new people because um, I've told more people about it and they've gone and looked it up. But I remember back in the day, I really told a lot of people. So apparently, I have 28 Spotify followers. That's cool. I suppose with Blender it'll be, or 3D animation in general, it'll be one of those things where I just have to make something, or not even make something, I just have to start. Because that's how it was with the podcast. When I came back to that, it was wanted to do something, and the most immediate thing I could think to do was just make a podcast. I bet you as soon as I start, as soon as I fire up Blender 2.8 and I start learning how to do things, I'm gonna like, it's gonna be one of those things where I gain more momentum. And who knows how that would go. I would be much better off than if I never did anything. To think how things would be if, I remember when the pandemic happened, I started to practice Blender a lot. And I sort of started to get good at it. And then fell by the wayside. And I look at some of it and it's like, I mean, like, I was able to make an ice cream cone and that looked pretty good. Well, I just have to add another thing into my repertoire. I guess the whole thing is like, so I started to do podcasts again pretty prolifically. So it's kind of like I'm juggling. I guess I just got to throw another ball in there. I wonder what thing I could do to add to things that I get to do as opposed to things I have to do. But anyway, I won't know until I try. Maybe I could just try making another game in, what was it? Another game in GDevelop. Well, anyway, thank you for entertaining me. Sorry if this wasn't the most informative episode, but I just felt like I had to do something. So if you feel anxious and you need to do something, just go ahead and take that first step, because you don't want a couple years to go by and you think, I could have been more productive. Well, anyway, this is the David Wells Experiment. Have an absolutely super day, and I hope all your dreams come true. Bye.